Chomsky did an interview with the Vanguard guys, whose channels recently exploded. Very interesting channel, focused on U.S. internal politics usually. And in that, they were one of the few channels that was very supportive of forced the vote and Jimmy Dore's tactics or whatever, especially on Medicare for all. So they asked his take on the issue, and I think
Noam
somebody
steak.
had Noam Chomsky's take, and I think they already had he had already publicly commented. I don't know, in an interview or a video interview or what, and he said that basically we should be focusing on ground level work and organizing at the ground level, because this is basically a vote that's going to fail no matter what. And he didn't see a point to it. And he said he was somewhat dismissive, and he said, we are not children that, we should go to our room and lock ourselves up until we get the candy or whatever we want. So he was somewhat dismissive. I didn't see the Vanguard response so much, but I did see the Kyle Kulinski highlighting it. And he said, and I think Kyle Kulinski had a point, that's, you know, I think, you need a target, you need a goal to organize around, and people need something to organize around. And he gives the example of a previous law that him, Cenk Uygur, other leftist channels, like they ask their supporters to call their senators or Congress people to sign up to something, and they did it. So he said there must be a goal to achieve. So sadly, I kind of disagree there with Noam Chomsky, but I thought it was it's a interview worth watching. Chomsky is doing a lot of interviews these days. I think he's trying to basically get as much content out there as he can, because that's the type of activism he's capable of right now. And and what I was gonna another thing that came to my mind, that was that I think, to be honest, we live in such a hopeless, like everybody's so hopeless. I mean, we read about alienation and Marxist definition of alienation, and then conservatives' idea of people becoming separated from each other and all that. And I never feel like I've seen it as much as I've seen it these days. I feel like people are completely like, especially like, kind of brings back after 2010s and failures of Arab Spring, and pretty much failures of the Occupy movements, and failures of climate change movement. All of that, I think right now people like really need sort of symbolic actions, and I think maybe Noam Chomsky sort of does not value that as much. But to be fair to him, I think if you do look at studies from the past, yeah, organizing on the ground usually is more like long term, or at least in a small scale, is more effective. But I would say that if you have some symbolic things, some symbolic goals for people to unify around or to strive for, even though some of them might become a bit of a bullshit or a fantasy, they may be worth it. Because right now I feel like everybody's just, at this point, I think everybody's given up, and to a huge extent, I see a lot of people just going, "Fuck it, I can't help anybody. I might as well just help myself maximize my own um, material wealth, or maximize my own well-being, or whatever. I can't think of others, because everybody's just so, like, pretty much states and establishment, or powers that be, whatever they may be called, during the last 10 years where there was turmoil and some backlash, they pretty well handled everything. So, I think there is that general atmosphere. But I'm making a huge generalization about, probably about a certain group within a global middle class. So, this is just a thought that came to my mind. I have no research backing it up. I have no empirical data, but I do think, genuinely, I've never felt this level of despair. I don't know. I don't know if, what do you think? Do you think you're a bit more in touch with university grounds these days than I am? So maybe I'm too negative.
No, I don't know. I mean, I can see that being the case. I'm just trying to think if compared to a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, if I feel like people feel like, yeah, like they have less power or they can't achieve anything or something like that or make changes. I don't know. It's interesting. I
And
haven't.
there is no pathway out of it, it seems. That's the crazy thing. It seems
Hmm.
there is no alternative. So, like, yeah, that at least if there was a fight going on, maybe you would think there's an alternative. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could say like in the United States, whenever like Bernie was doing good in either of the elections, felt like there was a path out or like something to improve or
Yes,
some
yeah.
way to improve. But yeah, perhaps now it's harder to see. But also, and coming back to Noam Chomsky and Kyle Kulinski's comments, I mean, Noam, I'm sure, is right in certain ways, but these things are not mutually exclusive. And I mean, nobody said that this forced to vote thing alone is gonna make things happen. So I think I agree more with what you said and Kyle's response, more or less.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be, yeah, I would be, I didn't watch Chomsky's interview with Kyle and Crystal, but maybe they discuss it there as well.
When
I
was
need to
that
check
one?
that.
When did they do that?
I think that was about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, I don't recall at all. That one. But all these Noam Chomsky interviews are kind of sad at the same time. It feels like he's allowing anybody who wants to interview him and talk to him and get his ideas out there. Just, I don't know.
No,
He's
no, that's
92.
he's good. I think it's
Yeah,
great though,
no.
because
It's like
I
he's
mean,
doing a public service. He's like, okay, I don't know
yeah,
how long, so if you want to talk to me,
exactly. Yeah, I was
yeah,
very surprised that he every week he's doing a different interview, and yeah, well done. Seriously, like well done. Yeah.
yeah, no,
All right.
amazing output. But this story actually kind of relates to your whole take right now. So, but
Mm.
people feeling more hopeless and all this. So the whole Super League drama in the football world.